Hey guys, so Nikon has announced another Coolpix. Hardly earth-shattering news, but this one is something pretty special and something very unusual for the company. It's sporting a fixed focal length and a full-size DX sensor. Let's chat. Okay, so why is this newsworthy? Well, look at the 1 series using their tiny little CX format sensor, which so many people have trashed, but I actually think are quite fantastic cameras personally. This one is rocking a DX. Now, this I don't think can be compared in any way to the Canon G1X. Fantastic, premium, high-end, compact point and shoot, but with full manual controls that it is. That has a large sensor in it, but it's nowhere near DX. It's not as big as this one. This one's significantly bigger in size, and that's got a good zoom lens. This has a fast f2.8 fixed lens. In my mind, this is along the same kind of vein as the Ricoh GR digital cameras, and if you want to pick another contemporary modern one that it's really going head to head with here, it's the Fuji X100S. Now that might surprise you, but let me just run through some of the specs on this new guy. So it's coming out at the end of this month. As I said, full DX format size sensor. So same size sensor as you get in the D5100, D7000, all of that kind of thing. It's an 18.5mm f2.8, but that's equivalent in terms of angle of view of a 28mm in 35mm speak. So really nice and wide for, you know, that kind of market, like the X100S or the Ricoh GR, that are going for that wide angle kind of look. It's using a full magnesium alloy body, fully loaded with battery and card. We're looking at just under 300 grams, 300 and change. It does have RAW, of course. You're going to want that if you're getting something like this. It is compatible with speed lights. It is compatible with the new GPS unit. It doesn't have an optical viewfinder, that's a downside, but you can get an external one. You know, the new King of the Hill fixed lens compact camera from Sony doesn't have one built in either. Let's see, what else have we got? So 16.2 megapixel, and it has no optical low pass filter, like my D800E and like the new Nikon D7100. This really seems to be a way they're going. And just like the Fuji X100S. So really interesting. It's still really small, 110mm wide, 64.3mm high, 40mm deep. So we're still talking slightly large point and shoot size, but really not a big camera by any means. Of course, full HD movie recording. It's got the XP2 image processing engine, and it's got the focusing ring around the lens that you can use for manual focus, which, you know, a lot of people like to be able to do that, especially in difficult lighting situations. To be able to throw in and have a usable manual focus option is a great thing. The optical viewfinder external has a high eye point, obviously, being that far up. 90% frame coverage, 0.52 magnification, nothing to blow your socks off. But for people who don't mind composing just through the rear screen, not a bad thing. The rear screen is not huge resolution. What are we looking at? 921,000K, which by today's standard for a 3-inch LCD is not huge, but we'll compare it to the others in just a second. It's got filter effects, all of that crap. It's got virtual horizon for visual confirmation of where you are in terms of your level. And all the other stuff you'd expect. That's 4 frames a second. The design, I think, looks pretty nifty. Now, just to compare it to the X100S, look at these specs and tell me that these aren't going head to head. X100, 16.3 megapixel. The Nikon, 16.2. They're both using big size sensors. They both have an ISO range of 100 to 25,600 with boost. Just the Fuji's native is 100 to 6400, and the Nikon is 100 to 3200. The Fuji has an edge on the lens. It's an f2, but 35mm. The Nikon is going to be 28mm and f2.8, so a stop slower, but significantly wider. The Fuji's also faster at 6 frames a second compared to 4. The Fuji also has the hybrid viewfinder, whereas the Nikon doesn't have anything. If you want to buy the optical one external, you're looking at $400 or $500 for that. Ouch. Don't know about the metering just yet. The shutter, Fuji wins again, 1/4000th of a second maximum speed. The Nikon is 1/2000th of a second. The LCD, the Nikon, if you're composing through it, you would hope so, is winning that one. That's 921,000 compared to just 460,000 on the Fuji, which is a surprise, and it's slightly smaller. Both have all the full HD video, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, the Nikon doesn't have external mic support, whereas the X100S does. Also, the X100 has better battery life, but it's 50% heavier than the Canon one, so that's something to think about, but people often love that. They're both due at the end of this month. The X100S is looking in the States at being around $1,300, whereas the Nikon's $1,100. The thing that could hurt them is this does look so much like some of their other cameras out there. It looks vaguely similar to, you know, the P310. But for people who are in that market, want to use Nikon accessories, or want something really quite like the Ricoh GR. I'm not saying it's the same, but to me it feels like it's in the same kind of vein. Certainly interesting, and interesting to see that they've gone for a DX sensor in there when the ones are sticking with their tiny CX, which again, I think is pretty good, but significantly smaller. So this one with a low pixel density and no low pass filter, I would expect is going to be performing really, really well. Leave me any questions or comments. Let me know if you're considering getting one. Jump over to the community forum and share your thoughts. Link in the caption below, and sign up to our mailing list whilst you're there. Thanks guys, see ya.